Hi all, and welcome to my channel, Fred Makes Things, and our first video in May. We're doing this video on a Friday, May 2nd. I hope you all are having a lovely official spring, I hope, for you. Yeah, so today we are talking how I kind of put together a cat tote bag. We're going to do this video in 4 parts. Part 1 is going to be inspiration. Part 2 is going to be construction. Part 3 is going to be discussing the totes themselves. And then part 4 is going to be final thoughts and sign off. Timestamps are in the description box on the screen for you and as chapters in the video. So if there's something specific that you would like to jump to, do feel free to use those timestamps. Quickly, before we get started, I do want to say that because spring has sprung in New England, the pollen is really high and the seasonal allergies are kicking my butt. I'm trying out a new antihistamine and I don't think it's working. So if you hear me sounding a bit sinusy, if you notice that I'm kind of losing my train of thought, anything like that, just know it's the my sinuses and the weather, and nothing is cooperating with me. So do bear with me. Other than that, I want to say hello to everyone, to new subscribers, OGs, anyone in between. Hello to the people who are curious about the cat tote bag and are wondering what they got themselves into. You're so very, very appreciated. Hello to the lurkers who have been here for a while and are not yet subscribed. I get it. I understand. And yeah, maybe today's the day you think about subscribing or not. It's all up to you. So yeah, let's get into part 1, inspiration. So I was on Facebook one day, scrolling as one does, and a picture of a cat quilt block, a corner cat quilt block, kind of popped up on my feed, and I thought, oh, that's cute, and I took a screenshot of it. I didn't go to the website. I didn't want to give the website really very much attention because I'm pretty sure the quilt block is stolen from somewhere else. I did a cursory search for where like this original image came from, and I have absolutely no idea, but here's a photo of it. And I liked kind of how they had the cat sitting in the corner of a quilt block. I really liked it. I think it looked really cool. So I kind of saw that idea and I decided to try it out on my own. Kind of looking at that block for inspiration, I worked up my own block through trial and error, and I ended up with something that looks like this after a few different iterations. And my goal was to make it larger than the small size that they had it at, to turn it into the corner panel of a tote bag. So as you can see here, right, we'll talk more about these in part 2, but I started with this, and I wanted it to eventually turn into something like this on this tote bag, which we will talk about in part 3. Then I also kind of wondered, like, I had thoughts about, like, why would I make this tote bag? Where was I going to go with this tote bag? That kind of idea. And then if you remember me talking about cat coin purses in February, I think, or the beginning of this not February, that's when I started thinking about it. Beginning of April, end of March, I talked about making cat coin purses. These ones are new ones that I put together, but I thought, wouldn't it be cool to have like a tote bag with a coin purse kind of matching it? Like, how cute is that? So then I had a reason to try to make these tote bags. And then, as I mentioned in the cat coin purse thing, a couple of the rescues that I kind of follow here where I live asked for raffle items. And I thought, well, wouldn't that be kind of nice that I could make something brand new for them while making something for my channel while figuring out the quilt block. So it all kind of came together, and I spent some of my free time in February and March and part of April figuring out the coin purses first, and then figuring out the tote bag. So let's get into part 2 and talk construction. So I started off with this. This is scraps from my scrap pile. And I wanted it to be on the corner, and I wanted it to come out to be roughly like a 9 by 9, 10 by 10 kind of a block. So I started kind of mathing it out and figuring things out, and I ended up with this first one here. It's a large 6.5 inch square. Here it's 2 half square triangles cut out of a 5.5 inch, or out of a 5 inch square, turning these into 4.5 inch half square triangles. I did 2 small half square triangles out of 2.5 inches, cut down to 2, I believe. And then I added like a section here to make these 2 quilt blocks 4.5 inches. Like this is 4.5 inches. And then I have this guy here, which is a 4.5 inch cut. It took some kind of working it out, measuring it out, trial and error to get it to here. You can kind of see on the back all of my joins. So I've got like the big block, the 2 half square triangles, the 2 little half square triangles, the 2 extra squares I had to cut, well, rectangles that I had to cut, and then I had this. So this took me, I don't know, a couple of days actually of like working out the dimensions and kind of like playing around with it to get it to this part. This is my very first attempt and finished block, and with like some trimming and stuff like that, that is how I got to the measurements before they were a little bit off, a little bit wonky. So when I got the measurements down on this one, I decided to try to make another one. Then I have this one here. This is, again, scrap, but it was scrap that was gifted to me from the Buy Nothing project on Facebook for my local community. And I've been kind of playing with stuff from their scraps for a while. Like, I think they had cut out fabric for a scrappy quilt that they never got around to. But that meant that for me, I had a whole bunch of pre-cut kind of quilt block sized pieces, and I thought that was really, really cool. So this was my first attempt, and then when I was getting ready to cut up this guy here, I said to myself, why am I making half square triangles for these when I could do those like little dog-eared corner component things that you can make? So if you look on my little thing, right, you've got like C1, C2. So this, right, I made a long cut, and then 2, right, like little 2.5 inch square pieces, instead of having to like piece the other pieces together, because I'm finding that if with less having to piece things together, there's less chance for everything to fall apart on me. So I did that. I made this here. My dimensions worked from the first kind of mathing everything out and the troubleshooting with the first block. And then because I had more of this fabric here, I decided to like build the panel out too for the quilt block to make sure that everything fit properly. And then it actually plays into an email that I received, I want to say last week. And I got a very insightful, very thoughtful, maybe it was the beginning of this week, very thoughtful email about like some of my opinions on Sewers Club and some of the things that I've like worked on, and like it was very much appreciated. And in that one, she said that even if it's a project that you don't like and a project that you may never like make on your own or something like that, in reference to the placemats that I made in November with Sewers Club, you could still find utility in it, right? So it may not be to your style, but you could still work with it. And then she made an example of how when with that placemat, she doesn't really do the pattern a lot. It isn't really a good pattern for her either, but it does give her dimensions and it gives her sizes and things like that to work with when she's making other projects. And I thought, well, I do that too, actually. Like in this card wallet here, right? This like internal pocket section here, this all comes from a Sewers Club project from last year. And when I make tote bags, I get most of my dimensions and how to put things together from 2 different patterns. Pattern 1 is turning a placemat into a tote bag pattern from Sewers Club all the way back in 2021. Here's a picture for that one. And the other one is the book tote that I made from last year. So you have the tote bag pattern and then you have the book tote pattern, and I kind of combine those to make the pattern for this one. So I completely agree with her that even when patterns don't work for you, they could still offer like options for you in another way. And I just wanted to like point out that I do appreciate when I get lovely and well thought out emails like that. It helps make me think and makes me like try to think of like looking at things in a whole new light. So that is where construction comes from. This is the base panel, bottom panel for the tote bags. And as you can see, everything is coming together nicely. Like the points on this one were pretty perfect. My head here, right, runs straight across, which is really, really nice. The key to that is to have one of your components face one way and then the other component face out, right? So you have one that's like sewn in a left diagonal and your other side is sewn in a right diagonal. And then you can come up with this lovely creation. And I'm like, okay, I think I'm ready. I've made 2 runs of it. I'm good. Let's get into making the actual project. So this is the first one that I made. I'm sure we recognize this star fabric. It's been making its appearance in a few different projects since I ordered a ton of it before Christmas. Here's the cat on the bottom, right? Dimensions are the same as this cat here. And I think it just turned out so, so cool. I have 1 panel here. I've got 1 panel on the top. And then you can see like this is coming from like the book tote inspiration here, the black on the top. And then what I also did is I have the cats touching each other. So when you flip it over, now your cat's sitting on the opposite side. And I thought, that's so cool. Like they touch on the bottom, they line up on the side. I thought that was just the coolest thing ever. I did mess up a little bit on my sizing of this side here. You can see it in the other one that I made quite a bit, but this is how it turned out. The interior has a snap, a magnetic closure, and then the interior is this bright pink that you might recognize as leftover fabric from my Sewers Club, or not my Sewers Club, from my temperature quilts from the last 2 years. And I thought, like, how pretty is that? And then I have the matching coin purse. Not exactly matching. Like I added like a little bit of the scrap of like this fabric that I have, but the interior is the exact same as this pattern here, right? And I thought, like, how cute is that all together? I forgot to say that we're into part 3, looking at the finished project. But yeah, so I did kind of clip the ear a little bit on here, but I think it still looks really, really cute. I really like it. And I think that someone who could win it in a raffle would really, could really enjoy it. I think so anyway. Right, and then like this one here to go with it. So, so pretty. So, so cool. Then, I have 2 rescues that I was thinking of donating to. This is for the Rescue CT Cat Connection, because I'm in Connecticut. And then the other one is for the local rescue that I foster for. If you've been on my channel for a while, you know that I currently have 4 foster cats in this house, and they also helped me with Junior when Junior walked into my house. So with this one here, I did kind of make a mistake on my paneling. I cut it weird. I cut it wrong. I annoyed myself with that, but I think that it's okay because it kind of adds to the piecework feeling of the project, right? Same idea, cat on one side, hugging cat on the other side. And I think it just came together so cool. Okay, they touch on the bottom, they touch mostly on this side. Same black fabric as the other one, but this one here though, we have the ability to use some of this other fabric that I picked up. Lined up fairly well, so you do have a couple of words showing on the handle. You've got blessed, blessed again, Figo, beauty on the bottom. On this side we have blessed again actually, and Figo, but they are both upright when they're being held. Same snap. And then the interior on this one is that lettered fabric. So I thought, ooh, that looks so pretty together. Like how nice. Oh, I'm in love with these because totes can hold a lot of weight, and I am having a bottom seam. I made sure that my, like on this one, my interior seam is also pieced right through. But what I did is I did a double layer of a lining just here on the bottom to help give it some structure. So I've got fusible fleece on the bottom of this, like on the exterior of this, and then I also ran some lightweight interfacing down on the bottom of this side here to reinforce the seam so that it all kind of holds together nicely. This one here, the interior is one solid piece on the bottom, so it doesn't really need that extra lining bit. And then for that I have this matching coin purse. This is one side, this is the other side. Snap closure. I ended up ordering plastic snaps and they snap together so much better. As I say that, this one is, oh, there we go. Right, and then the lining on this is the black from the cat. So I thought it turned out pretty cool, pretty nice. So that was me making quilt blocks, figuring out quilt blocks and sharing them with you. So part 4, final thoughts, sign off. I think I'm going to make a couple of these tote bags to post up in my Etsy shop as well, along with the coin purses. Like I'll do matching. I don't know if I'll do matching sets, but I'll have matching coin purses available for a separate purchase maybe. Because I think if I put the 2 of them together, the bundle might seem a bit exorbitant to buy all at once, but we will see. These tote bags do come together fairly quickly as I'm working on them. Like once I got the cat block down, which took me a few days, the assembly of them came together quite nicely, quite quickly. I am thinking of posting the PDF available for you to download if you want to make your own cat head quilt block. As you can see, I have it kind of already finished up. I would just need to clean it up, write up some like cutting instructions and piecing together instructions, that sort of thing. But I didn't mention it in the beginning, but basically I made all of my components. I made this bottom panel together, or I sewed this bottom panel together, I sewed this top panel together, and then I sewed them all together. All right, so it went this and this together, this and this together, these with that, and then sewn straight together. But it turned out so nicely. I'm so proud of it. I'm so proud of my that my imagined project turned out to look like my finished project. Yeah, so that is this. Let me know what you think about these bags. Like, do you like them? Do you kind of like how they came together? I'm not going to question you on whether or not you like the fabric, because who wouldn't like brightly colored fabric with stars on it, with gold stars? Like, come on, they're fun. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed making these. I enjoyed troubleshooting with them, and I enjoyed trying to make each one their own kind of unique creation. So yeah, that is this video. What do we have coming up? I swear I'm gonna stop talking about what's coming up, because with my new not having Fridays scheduled videos, like not having time lapses on Fridays, it kind of throws off like when unboxings and everything kind of happen. But Monday is going to be an unboxing video for you. I have that I'm going to film hopefully tomorrow. Wednesday, I'm hoping it's going to be a Sewers Club project unboxing. But if it's not, then we'll see what we see. And then Friday is going to be our Mary Maxim Crochet Club of the Month review video for April. I'm trucking along on the baskets as we speak, as you're watching this video, most likely. And then after that, I'm not sure. We're in a new month, so we'll take it from there. Let me know though, all your thoughts, hopefully, down in the comments section. Think about subscribing if you want to like follow along on what I'm up to next. And like the video if you've made it to the end. And with all of that being said, I'm going to say thank you so much for watching, and I will talk with you again soon.